Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Ignite Business Community, and good evening, Purpose and Faith Global Community. It is your favorite faith and finance coach, Pastor Sean. We are on tonight with yet another wonderful, phenomenal woman in business. I'm super excited about tonight. But before we get into the introductions of everything, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank y'all so much for being in the community. It has been a wild ride since January, right? It has been a wild ride. So many wonderful, wonderful things that are happening in and around our community. So many of our community members doing positive things, wonderful things, phenomenal things. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, because I think it's super important that, listen, people who are doing great things get highlighted, get spotlighted. So if that's you, I just want you to know that if you are a part of our community in any way, shape, or form, if you follow me, you are entitled to a spotlight. Okay. And so we love to spotlight women in business and even some of our gents, because we do have gents here in the community. But I want to say thank you all for all of your camaraderie, your mentorship, one to another, just being able to support each other, pray with each other. We know that this is a community that is everything God. Okay, everything God. So hello, God chicks. Tonight we have a super special treat. Yet another phenomenal woman in business. We're going to find out what she does, how she does it, and all that good stuff. And listen, if you would, go ahead, like and share this live, and so that it can motivate, so that it can inspire another woman in business. And so now I'm going to bring on with us our highlighted woman for tonight. She is no stranger to me. We'll find that out in just a moment. But for some of you, she's your friend, she's your sister, she's your confidant. And for many of you, you may not have heard of her, but on tonight, you are going to find out who INEZ Pierre is. She is the proud owner of Pierre Parade Productions here in the city of New Orleans. And we know we have viewers from all over the world. We know our global community is in 11 countries right now. So we thank God for all of you. Even if you are watching in the rebroadcast or go ahead and put hashtag replay if you are watching this and it's not live. Okay, so you know how we do it here in the community. Hello, INEZ. How are you? It's so good to have you on tonight. I'm super excited about our interview tonight. I'm super
Yes.
excited about your business, just being able to myself watch it evolve over the years. So why
Mhm.
don't you just go ahead, introduce yourself, and just give us a little bit about what you do.
Well, thank you for having me, and hello to everyone, even on the rebroadcast. So, my name is Inez Pierre. I am a native of New Orleans, and I am the only woman of color who holds the title as the only woman who designs, paints, and builds Mardi Gras floats in New
Wow.
Orleans. And I've been in this business for about 5 years now. And without Sean, I would have never gotten this far.
Wow.
Never.
You're going to make me cry.
He have motivated me, comforted me, guided me, and had a lot of patience. My life has definitely been up and down, very resilient, and um, I have enough faith and understanding in you that no matter what I come to you with, you will find a way to help me or guide me or tell me it's going to be okay.
Wow. You're going to make me cry for
Don't
real.
cry because you're a superstar, baby. Because when I posted it, it was like, oh, I know Mr. Smith Sean. I know Pastor Sean. I'm like, well, wait a minute now. Hold up. I need to get to that level. I need to get to that level. I want to be like Pastor Sean.
Well, listen. For many of you who may not know,
Hmm.
Inez and I are relatives as well.
Correct.
Inez is she is married to one of my first cousins
Yes.
and my god brother,
Yes.
Mr. Rene Pierre. That's a whole nother, y'all. I'm gonna
That's
have to
another
have a
story.
special men's spotlight just for him, okay? Just for him. But Renee, I want you to know tonight it's all about Inez, okay?
Great.
So I'm super, super excited
Mm-hmm.
with what God has done in your
Mm.
business.
Yes.
Just kind of, I know you just mentioned a little bit about how your business has evolved
Mm-hmm.
and all of that good stuff. So just kind of tell us a little bit about the beginning of your journey and what made you go into this.
Hmm. I cannot remember the date, but I remember having a conversation with Renee in a car, and we were driving up Elysian Fields, and I asked him, I said, well, why doesn't the social aid and pleasure clubs, the second lines, have beautiful floats as they do in Carnival? I said, because the money and the time that they spend on their costumes and everything that they do, they should shine like everybody else. And he said, well, they don't have floats. Some people do things. They used to have them, then it's not, and all of this stuff. So I said, well, I want to build them a float. And about a year later, he's like, I'm building you a float.
Wow.
That was his gift to me, is was my first float that he built by hand and he painted by hand. So I
Wow.
said, well, I guess I'm in business now. So I went online and I asked some friends of ours from Kennedy, what should I name my business? And so a friend of mine, his name was Melvin, and he said Pierre Parade Productions.
Wow.
Wow, okay. And so, and like in anything that I do, I have serious prayer, meditation on it. And so God said to me, you're going to change the face of Mardi Gras. And that's my motto.
Wow.
Because I want people of color to understand that this industry is not exclusive. If you want to do it, you can do it. If there's something that you're interested in, you can do it. Don't feel that you cannot do it. And I want you to be on the profitable side, not the unprofitable. I want you to learn how to make money and to grow rather than get money and throw it off the float.
Right.
It's a huge difference. And I have been blessed each year. We're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Our name is getting out. Um, I do a lot of business now in Mobile and Mississippi and Gulfport, Pass Christian. Um, 2 years ago, I did Mardi Gras in Opelousas. That was my first parade.
Amazing.
That's a funny story because these huge floats can only travel 20 miles an hour. So it took us 5 hours to get to Opelousas for an hour parade and 5 hours back.
Wow. That's
But to
dedication.
me, it was more important to be seen and have my name put to that than not doing it.
Right. Absolutely.
Because I do a lot of school parades and I love it because I know there's a high percentage of kids that never get the chance to touch a float,
Wow.
to get on a float, to throw anything off a float. And just to see those kids smile like, oh, look at that float. We can touch it. We can get on it. We can do it. And they're just amazed every year.
Wow. And just you telling the story, I can picture the kids getting on the
Mhm,
floor. I can picture myself when I was little and we were so amazed by, floats at that time. And
mhm.
the teacher would have a float building contest where we would have to make, right?
The
But
shoebox.
never being able to actually touch one or get on one.
Mhm.
So at that age, that is like mind blowing, right?
Correct, correct. And when I say changing the face of Mardi Gras, I'm looking for children and youth who are interested in being artists, who can
Yes.
draw and teach them that you can have a living and have your own business to do sketches. You can be electricians to put lights on floats. Everything now was changing. Then you can also be a welder, a
Wow.
carpenter, a painter. There's really no limit that you can't do in this business. And you know, I talk about people of color in this industry because in the background, if we were not there, there would not be a Mardi Gras. It,
Exactly.
it would happen, but the way you see it now would not happen. There's four
Wow.
men of color, including Renee, that have been doing this for 60 years, painting these floats. This is a skill.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we need to put people in place to take over and to be able to keep this tradition. From clothes
Absolutely.
sewing to you name it. Welders, carpenters, artists, it's there. It's open.
So it really takes that many different types of skilled labor to
Correct.
put together one float.
One float. Yes.
Wow. That's amazing
I think
because
from
we don't think about it that way, right?
start to finish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 steps.
Mm, 10 steps.
10 steps.
And you are the only
I am the only.
woman of color
Yes.
in this industry.
Yes.
Doing it big, I will say.
Yes.
Yes, y'all.
Yes.
Y'all know
Yes.
how I love my
So
community.
I have to do my Sean, Miss Pastor Sean impression. Now listen, listen, listen. Now we can do this. Listen, and when you listen, you get it. My uncle told me years ago, you learn so much more if you sit down and be quiet and just listen. You'll get every story. You'll get every answer you need in the circle that you're in, and that is so true. God has really blessed us um, in a many a ways. I went from my office being in a little sunroom, you know, blazing hot, freezing in the winter, to a little office in the living room, to outside, and now we have a building. You know, the transition is phenomenal,
Yes,
and I'm
absolutely.
thankful and grateful for everything that happens. Every year I pick a word. This year's happenstance. Everything happens for a reason. People cross your path for a reason. Phone calls happen for a reason.
Absolutely.
And when you look at life like that, everything that you think is horrible, everything you think is tiring, everything that you think doesn't make sense makes sense.
Mm,
Get to that next point that you're supposed to be in.
absolutely.
And you
Absolutely.
have to move with intention. If you don't move with intention, you're just moving around. You have no goal. You're not walking towards something. You're not walking in faith about
Hmm.
this is what I want. This is what I want to achieve. And sometimes we have this vision that we want it one way, but God sees it another way.
Right. Right.
And you have to have that discernment to move.
Mm, mm. You're right. You're absolutely right. You bringing me back to memories of our first sessions.
Mhm. Ooh, I can't
First
remember.
session. One of our first sessions, I remember Inez and I got together in our mentorship session, and she began to tell me where she was at in business, where she wanted to go, what her vision was for her company, what her goals were. And so we sat down, and I believe it might have been Mardi Gras had just passed. And so now
Hmm.
you were going into the off season. And I said, okay, so while we're in the off season, we got to make this money. You
Correct.
remember that? You remember? We
Yeah,
got to
no,
make
I
this money.
remember.
So let's sit down and we're going to look at different streams of income that you can make with your business
Hmm.
other than waiting on the next Mardi Gras.
Correct.
And I could see your brain just start click, 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 click. And what I loved about our session, you were open to what I was telling you.
Yeah,
Not that I'm always right, but it began to allow your creativeness about your own business go into overdrive, right?
correct. And I think that's very important because, and I'm just going to speak from my perspective and just from the perspective that I've talked to other women who are in business or who want to be in business, is for women of color, it's very hard to find people that you trust. Not only trust, but find people who are willing to assist you or guide you or mentor you. It's very hard to come by, genuinely. Most people are looking to see what they can get out of it, how they can use you to get something or to get to someone, who want to be in your area but don't want to put in the work and do it individually.
Right.
Uh, and to be consistent. You know, it's been 5 years, but in that 5 years, how many times have I dropped off?
Right.
Look, Sean, I can't
Zero.
say that. I just
She
have too
wanted
much on
to.
my
She
plate.
wanted to.
So I'm gonna come back to you when I get my mind right. All right, call me when you're ready. Even if it was a 1 day or if it was a 2 day, a call or something, we got it done. And I think that's very important. We have to always remember that someone always planted a seed in you or helped you out to do something. And in return, you have to do that.
Yeah.
Even it's like I remember standing at the bus stop in my 20s and people would offer me rides from school or whatever, and I would take it. And then it comes 360. I can do it for somebody else, or they
Yeah.
may need me in some way.
Yes.
So we need more of what you're doing out where people are more comfortable to come in and be trustworthy. Now, the flip side to that is you have to be ready.
Yes. Yes.
You have to be ready and you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to say, I don't know. You have to be
Right.
willing to say, listen, I'm confused. I have no idea how to get here or what to do. You can't cut corners. That's one thing I've learned. You cannot cut corners. It's
Yes.
not going to work for you. So,
Always executing and putting your best foot forward.
yeah. I have a friend, Gina Gatewood. Uh, Her thing to me is slow and steady always wins the race.
Mm,
That is so
that
true.
is so true.
Because
That
you
is
have to
so
slow
true.
your mind, you have to slow your thought process and look at everything 360. If something comes in your path, you have to look at it at 360. What's the pros? What's the cons? Because
Right.
not everything is meant for you to go into.
Right.
Because you may want to do it, but is it going to benefit you?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes. So, what would you say to aspiring and maybe new business owners out there and they're trying to get their business off the ground and there's so many things to learn? What would you say to them?
Who? The young me would say definitely find your passion. And I know that's a big word and it's very confusing because people are like, I hear that all the time. I hear that all the time. But the simple definition for me is at its worst, do you still love doing it?
Wow. That's a
Even if you didn't make any money, are you still okay with it?
mm,
Um, do you have to talk to people, be in circles that you don't want to be in, but you still have to do it? But you have to learn that sometimes you have to be in that circle or space just for a little while because they do have the knowledge that you need.
right.
You just need to sit back, listen, and then go back and apply it to yourself. The person that I am now,
Mm-hmm.
go for it. You never
Wow.
fail unless you don't get back up.
Awesome. I
Because
could
you
have
can
I
have
could have sworn
five
you were
businesses.
I could have sworn you were in our Tuesday mentorship last night,
Oh,
because
no.
part of what you were saying is what we were discussing last night. We
Mm,
just kind of had conversation last night, one with each other. Sometimes instead of learning something, what we will do is we will have conversations about where are we, what are we having struggles with, what do we need help with, what path are we going from here. And so that was kind of the discussion in our mentorship class on last night. So what you're saying today is, some of the things that we said, sometimes you got to slow down and look at
yeah,
this
it's not
thing.
going to happen overnight.
Yes, yes. No.
And something I always tell people when they ask me, and I remember when I was early on in this journey, I used to send you TikTok things and Sean, is this true?
Right.
I never heard of that. This business, and they say I can get $100,000 loan, and I could do this and get this, and you're like, no. What was that? No. I'm
It
like,
doesn't work
okay.
that way, right?
But you have to be diligent. You have to
Mhm.
put in the time and study and research and look at things differently. You look at this person, if that's go online and find 10 people who are doing what you want to do. And I guarantee you, each one of them is doing it totally different
Absolutely.
because you have to find a way that makes it work for you. Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Yes.
Please don't. Just because you think they're in a mansion, that's their mansion and that they can afford to be in that mansion.
But what they don't say sometimes is, I've got five other streams of income that keeps me in the mansion, not my business.
Correct. Correct. And that's
Right?
something that I'm learning because every other male in this business has not been millionaires by being in the Mardi Gras industry. They own land, they
Mm-hmm.
own other businesses,
Okay.
and they have pivoted in their business to do with other things. You do productions, they sell beads, they go to China. So that's
Yeah.
how they get these extra streams
Mm-hmm.
because it's a very, very expensive field. So the blessing for us is the difference is we're self-sufficient. We can design, we can draw, we can build, and we can paint.
And
So
y'all floats look absolutely phenomenal, I might
listen,
add.
my floats are the best looking floats.
I already
My
know.
only competition is Raymond Bowie. He's been painting floats, a black man. He's been painting floats for over 60 years.
Wow.
And he paints Nick's floats. So he's
Okay.
in Rex's floats. So we're never going to get better than him. But Renee trained under him.
Wow.
The difference is if we get a contract, we do everything in house compared to the other people who have to get that money, split that money 5 or 6 different ways.
Right.
So that's money going out the door instead of staying in the business.
So tell us a little bit about how your business and your husband's business complement each other.
I'm gonna be honest, I would not have a business if it wasn't for him.
Wow. That's
He is
amazing.
my main
It's
man.
so sweet.
He's everything. He is the face of my business in the background, and he is the upfront face in his business. So what Renee does is he is a service provider, and he goes to the majority of all of the other float builders.
Okay.
He paints their floats. So they pay him to paint his floats. So he paints a very large amount of parades. So you see his work. So then he has contracts in Baton Rouge, some other small towns, We have 2 contracts in Mobile. So
Wow.
we are
Y'all doing the doggone
we're
thing.
all over.
Okay.
And
I love it.
today, I was on the phone with 4 different groups in Covington looking for us to now gotten into the business. We're flipping floats now.
Come on, y'all.
Like you flip houses, we flipping floats. And that
Yes.
is something very important in business that I learned, that you have to be able to pivot. You cannot stay in that lane, because you have to be able to go here when this lane gets dry, or there's construction and you got to do this and do that. You have to be able to pivot. And when we pivoted, our first pivot was the porch floats.
I
So when the
remember that.
market shut down, there was no one riding floats, and my competition did the house floats. We did the porch floats. So then we had to pivot to do um truck floats. Then we had to pivot to do panels and backdrops and rentals of props and all of those things. And so now this year we've pivoted to flipping floats. So we have a lot of people out in Mobile who are looking like, hey, can you guys find us floats?
Wow.
So I find that float, I flip it, sell it to them.
So how amazing is that? Like your business has grown outside of New Orleans, Mardi Gras. Literally.
I love it. I make more money outside of New Orleans than I do in
Amazing.
New Orleans.
Amazing. Amazing. So I have another question. So what strategies do you feel that you've implemented to build a strong way of doing business and being consistent?
Hmm. I don't know. I don't even know if I have a strategy, but I have an agenda, because I don't feel that strategy is the right word for me at this.
Okay.
Maybe, when I get a building, then that's another area. Then you have to start being strategic, because you'll have more work, you have more things going out and coming in, and it's not going to be so simple, because we can do this with our eyes closed.
Right.
So, once you start getting more work, like today, I was like, I have to get me a huge dry erase board, because I have so much. I'm like, okay, what date is this and this and that? Because you have to remember, we do second lines. I do second line clubs. I do private pools. I do weddings. We do props. We do backdrops. We do
Wow.
floats. We do the painting of porch, truck floats. And now we're building floats for people. I only have
Whoa.
fingers left.
So, most people, when Mardi Gras is over, they ain't thinking about it until it gets
No,
close to time. You
no.
guys are working, is it like
365 days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because you have to think about it.
365.
Most
365.
most crews, they work within that 2 month of Mardi Gras season,
Right.
and then they roll. I'm rolling 365.
365, y'all. Do y'all hear
Yeah,
this?
365.
And we're talking about a Black owned, woman owned business whose husband is a Black owned business and has a superior niche
Yes, we are.
because their work, if you have seen their work, it is excellent. Okay. And so I just want to say hats off to you guys.
Thank you.
Like it's already hard for small business owners to, first of all, lay the foundation of a business, get their business off the ground, but to be consistent and constantly growing for 5 years. Hats off. Y'all put some hearts in the chat. Put some hearts in the chat for my girl. All right. I
Yeah,
am just so, so proud of you because
thank
I
you.
have had the honor of being able to watch you guys evolve.
Hmm.
And it's just super, super amazing. Super amazing.
The same for you. The same for you. The same for you. You're my angel,
Oh,
because it is. we're as good as we are. We're all scatterbrains over here. It's like so much going on. I find that that's something in business that's the hardest thing for me. You think when you're in the business that you're just going to sit down and everything is just going to happen. Everything is just going to flow.
Whew.
And it's not, because I spend more time on this phone. You may think I'm not.
Right.
You get texts, you get calls, you have to continuously make calls. You have to be able to get up and you have to talk to people. It's not going to always just be a knock on the door to say,
Right.
oh, we want to do this. You have to be able to follow up with people. Um, it's a constant. And I think that's the balance for Renee and I.
Mm-hmm.
He's 150 miles an hour. Always, his
He's
brain never
going,
stops.
Energizer Bunny.
And I'm like, look, can I just sit down and look at this for a minute? Let me grasp this project and do it. But it's such, I don't think we can do it without each other.
Awesome.
It's,
I don't think so either.
no, it's,
Y'all truly do compliment each other.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always given the opportunity to shine, because without him, I would not be here and I would not be as successful as I am. Because it's really, you know, him. It's his work. It's his hands. It's his sweat. Now,
Mm-hmm.
trust me, I've been in the positions when he was working, I had to get out there and build floats.
Right.
I had to put nails and hammers and stretching and painting floats and using spray guns. I did all of that. But some
Yes.
people don't understand that before you can get to here, you started there.
Say that again, please.
Before you can
Say
get
that
here, you
again.
have to start from there.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Before you get here, you have to start over there.
Is so true.
You have to build that road. That road is not there for you, especially for people of color.
I love that. I love that. You have to build that road.
Correct. You have to, because now that we're being seen on TV, and we get all kind of calls, we get all kind of emails, I get everything, and you really have to decipher. Listen, you knew me 10 years ago, you knew me 5 years ago, now all of a sudden you popping up.
Now that I got those interviews.
Yes.
But that's okay. We accept all money. It's green.
Hey, and one thing
Right?
about this business, the only color that matters is green, baby. That's it. That's all that matters. But will you sell your soul for it is the next question.
Mm. Yes.
Will
Yeah.
you sell your soul for it?
Yes.
And it's not worth it.
Yes.
Worth it. And I really want to we want to leave a legacy. We want to have young people come behind us and be in the books.
Yes. Absolutely.
We have a lot of firsts. I have a lot of firsts
Mm.
in this industry. And some people will never know.
Wow.
But I do know in my heart that in 15 years,
Mm.
somebody else. And that's one thing you can do. They can never take away the truth.
That's true.
They may
That's
not highlight it,
Mhm.
but it's going to be in the book and somebody's going to say our name.
Yes. So how does it feel to break barriers in
I
your
love it. I get a high on it. In that movie, Waiting to Exhale, one of like he's ooh, that turns me on. I love I love it because I've earned it and I worked for it.
That's right.
No one gave it to me. I
Whew.
earned it.
You have earned it.
And I want to show other young girls and I want to show other young boys that you can do it too.
Because you could have looked at the industry and said, I can't get into that. You could have looked
Oh,
at it and
Lord.
said, I won't be able to make money in that. But guess what?
Oh, I got that. Family members will tell you, oh, they'll never pay for that. Or they
Mm,
won't ride on your float. You can't do that. I've had it.
wow.
Oh, no, that won't happen. Why is she doing that?
Mm.
They got all these other float builders. Guess what? You come if you come. You don't, you don't.
And that's what we learned in the community. We learned that in our mentorship community.
If you don't believe in yourself, who will?
Charge your worth. Charge your worth.
Who?
We charge our worth in the community. Hello, somebody.
See, you don't
Come
want
on,
to hear my
community
story
members.
about that
Put
because
some
that's
fire in the chat.
listen.
Put some fire in the chat because we are evolving, believing in what we do and in ourselves. And what I love about you, Inez, is that you always have the outlook that I can do it. I can
Uh-oh,
do it.
we
It'll get
froze.
done. Are you back?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm back.
What I love about you is you always have the outlook. I can get it done.
Hmm.
I can get it done. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna find a way.
It may take a while, but we'll get it or we'll find a way. And if it's not, if it doesn't happen, it wasn't meant to happen. It wasn't meant to happen. And I think that we have to understand our place in society. If you're constantly thinking about, I can't, I got this obstacle in my way, or
Right.
this one's not going to like it, and this one said this, and all of that, you're never going to see the light. You're never going to be able to put your foot to the pedal and drive through all of that nonsense.
That's what it is.
It
Nonsense.
is because, listen, there's 5 float builders, including myself. I get zero support. Phil Cano, I give him props. He allowed me to put 2 of my floats in a crew of 90. He didn't have to
Wow.
do that. He
That
did
was
not
amazing.
have to do that. So he opened up the door for me on that level to be in a large parade.
Wow.
That's a first.
And that happened this year, I might add.
Yes. And next year I'll have
Awesome.
90 and there's a new crew. So it's there and you have to be comfortable.
Yes. There's room for everyone.
That's interesting you would say that because we have a classmate. He does floats, but he does the trailers. His name is Henry. And I pull Dillard University's homecoming every year. So that was my first time pulling it, and I saw him. And you know what his words were to me? Don't worry about it, sis. There's enough money for everybody.
It's so true.
And it is so true.
It's so true.
If you stay in your lane and you're respectful, it's going to come.
It's gonna come.
It's going to come. And I tell people all the time, they call, oh, well, that's too much. I say, okay, well, you can call Henry. I'll give you his number.
It
Come
just
on.
means that's not your customer. That's all that
No.
means.
And that's okay because not every dollar
Yes.
is meant for you to have.
Yes. Yes.
And it's not for you to have.
Absolutely. I am so I can't say it enough. I'm so godly proud of you. I'm so proud that you are in an industry. First of all, it's super niched industry.
Yeah.
And then it's even super niched because you are a woman owned,
Hmm.
black owned business.
Hmm.
And that is super phenomenal. Doing the doggone thing, helping people. Uh, what was your tagline again? Changing the
Changing the
face.
face of Mardi Gras.
So when you say that, what does that mean?
You getting a new look and a new feel. because trust, when we walk through the door, and that's one thing about us, we are very humble people. We are not
Yeah.
flashy. You
Yeah.
wouldn't know who we are if you saw us. We are not going, and I tell my friends and my sorority sisters, don't keep telling people what I do. Because Michelle, she is quick. You're royalty here. This is black royalty. The reason why I like it, but I don't like it because I want people to know me for me and respect me the way I respect you. And then we're on an even keel.
Mm-hmm.
If you happen to ask me what I do, I'll tell you because that's how it is. I'm more interested in what you do than what I do.
Right.
So it's fun. It has its drawbacks, but I remain very I like to be in the background. But if
Right.
you know me, you wouldn't say that.
Yes.
So it's becoming a very fun area for me. And there's times when I'm just like I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it anymore. I'm tired. You
So she is very modest, y'all. She is very humble because, first of all, she didn't tell us about her education, and she
Oh,
didn't tell us about being an absolutely phenomenal mother. So
yeah.
let's hear a little more about that.
Okay. So being from New Orleans, they don't care anything about where you went except your high school. So I am a proud graduate of John F. Kennedy Senior High.
Woo
And
woo!
I must say that John F. Kennedy has been killing it in this Mardi Gras industry. We had Dominique was the king this year. We had Chris. He was what's he had a character. He was a character in Zulu. We have a lot of Kennedy alum that are very active. So after Kennedy, I went to Delgado, where I received my first degree in early childhood education, and that's where I met Renee. Then I went to USL for a year because they were supposed to start a music program, and they didn't. So I went to Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro,
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, where I received my bachelor's in recording industry management and entertainment technology. So that is the study of the music business.
Ah,
So you can do the tech side or the music side. I did the business side. I worked for Warner Brothers as an A&R agent. So what they did, we went out, we looked for groups, and then we uh, prepared them to, be seen and all of those things. And then when I was at MTSU, I got involved in the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. And me and
okay.
a friend of I, we were the first group to be on a predominantly white campus.
Mm,
And that was very hard because Middle Tennessee State sits pretty much in this where the KKK started. So our union was named after the Grand Master of the KKK. So
okay.
I had to do a lot of fighting and protesting there. So that's how I got involved into human services, case management, and all of that. And I did mental health. I was a parent support. I did all of that.
Y'all hear all this? Y'all hear all this, right? I just want y'all to hear all of this. And this is why we do the spotlight. Because there are so many of you out there, you're just doing the doggone thing in your sphere. But people need to know
Yeah.
because it encourages us, it inspires us, it motivates us. And I didn't want to interrupt you, but go ahead on. I just had to stop for a minute.
Okay. I also was a reading teacher. I taught kids who were put out of the public school system, so they went to the alternative school. And I am proud to say that 99% of the kids that we got in the alternative schools, I had them, they're excellent students. They
Wow.
were reading college level books. I had them reading college level books. It's just every child learns differently. You can't
Yeah.
25 kids in a classroom and expect everybody to be on the same level. The teacher cannot teach everybody the same way.
Yes.
So I did. I also worked for Odyssey House. I worked in
Mm.
the children's program at night with them for their recovery.
Wow.
So then I've had a couple of businesses. I used to sell T-shirts. Uh, I sold things. I did quite a few. I had my own production company,
Awesome.
so that was fun. That was really fun. Renee loved it because he used to be able to see all the stars and Jamie Foxx and all of that. When they
Awesome.
were really big, we used
Oh
to
my
do
goodness.
things. And then I did a very long stint in case management. I did education case management, workforce case management. Uh,
Wow.
I worked for Healthy Start for a long time, helping women and children. I was a program manager for a project called the Birthing Project. So
Wow.
that was one of the hardest jobs because we believed in the method of mentoring women who were having kids for the first time,
Okay.
mothers.
Wow.
And it was so hard to get women of color to mentor other women, young women coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started my Bijou 818 women. I used to do the workshops.
Ah.
So every year I did a workshop and it was free. I never charged anybody to come to my workshop.
Wow.
And the reason why is because if you've gotten to this level,
Mm-hmm.
started at this level, and someone invested in you, someone helped you, so you pay it
Yes.
forward.
That's right.
You have to pay it forward.
Mm.
I paid for everything. I had my friends. I have a
Wow.
large group of eclectic friends who do many things, and they were gracious enough to come and just do their session.
Wow.
And it was getting bigger and bigger every year. And then I was having clients come, my women clients, because I was doing parent support at the time.
Okay.
So
The many facets of Inez.
yeah,
You know
be
what I
down there,
love?
Renee.
We hear this a lot that there are so many layers to Black
Mhm.
women, right?
Yes, we're complex melodies.
And there are so many gifts and talents and just everything,
Yeah,
and
tap
then
into it though.
to have your life evolve and now you've landed in your complete purpose.
I wouldn't say this is my complete purpose.
Well, for now. For now.
Well, my purpose, since you mentioned it, I've always wanted to open a school for girls.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So I want to, I was very motivated by the movie Harriet Tubman.
Mm,
So it's based off of Harriet Tubman. So Harriet Tubman had many names.
mm,
So her name is Araminta.
mm-hmm.
So first group are going to be the Minties, the little girl.
Oh, nice.
Then the middle school is going to be, I forgot the names now, into high school. And where it's about mindfulness, life skills, critical thinking, all of the skills that our kids are really missing.
Mm, yes.
They're missing, and it's very hard to get them to understand and get parents to understand because we
Hmm.
have been indoctrinated into this system,
Right.
not going to help them 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Right.
So
Right.
they have to be able to compete
Hmm.
with people that don't look like them.
Right.
See, they're giving one thing about people that don't look like us, they provide their children with structure outside the home. This is how you start. This is how you get here. This is how you get these funds. This is how you work these funds.
Yes. Wow.
All our kids knows you get a job and you work for somebody else.
Well, I'm glad that you are changing the face of the next generation,
I'm trying.
leaving an awesome legacy behind you and everything that you do. My I'll say hats off to you and all that you are doing, all that you yet have to put your hands to do. So how is it, do we follow you? How do we follow you? How do we
Okay.
uh, learn more about your business? How do we reach you if we need your services? Tell us all about that, and maybe Mr. Renee
Mm-hmm.
can drop it in the chat for us as well. What are your handles? Are you on all social platforms?
Okay. So I am on Pierre Parade Productions on Instagram, Pierre Parade Productions on TikTok, Pierre Parade Productions on Facebook.
All right.
And then it's pierreparadeproductions.com. And my number is 504-357-1348 is my business number. And anybody that's interested in helping, assisting me in helping youth, helping women. I really want to do an art camp this year. So I'm looking for a space to have the art camp and then to continue to do the Bijou 818 women. So anything that you have an idea, you want to help, please call me. And you can email me at pierreparadeproductions@gmail.com.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on today.
Ooh,
Thank
it's
you
getting
so
dark
much
outside.
for sharing your story with us.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you for all that you do, blazing the trail in your field
Yeah.
and showing women that, listen, just keep your head to the plow, stay focused. It's going to be some tough times, but hang in there,
Oh,
right?
yes. Many a nights of no sleep and
Yes,
it's like, is this going to happen? It took
right.
me a whole year to rent my first float.
Wow.
Never gave up. It took one person.
Don't give up. Don't give up. So with us closing now,
Mhm.
are your final words to women in business? Do you want to inspire them? What would you say?
What my mama taught me: if you fall down, get back up. Don't quit.
Don't quit. I love it. I love it.
Even if you
All
have to
right.
change, don't quit.
Well, there you have it. Inez Parade, owner and operator of Pierre Parade Productions. She's on every platform that you probably can look at, the popular ones anyway. Pierre Parade Productions. If you just remember that, begin to search for that. You are going to find Miss Inez Pierre doing it big here in New Orleans
Okay.
and in other states.
Can I plug? Can I do one more plug?
Yes,
So
yes, you
me and
can.
my sorority sister, we have a site on all platforms, Cagney and Lacey Shenanigans.
I love it.
Cagney and Lacey Shenanigans. We're members of Sigma Gamma Rho, and we plan to do community service, things in the community to help everybody, injustice, everything.
Awesome,
Friend
awesome.
us.
Cagney and Lacey shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
I'm already getting off of here right now so
Thank,
I can follow you guys.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of our private community as well as our group community. We bless
Hmm.
God for all of you, and we thank God for all of you who have stayed to listen with us. This was an awesome interview, and this will not be the last time you hear from Inez Pierre. We love you. We love you. We love you, Inez. Thank you for listening, everybody. Good night.
Bye bye.